Welcome to the Power of the Palate National Virtual Cocktail Competition presented by Black Restaurant Week in partnership with Maker's Mark. Thank you everyone for joining us for this Make Your Mark Monday Happy Hour. I'm Warren Luckett, founder of Black Restaurant Week, and today we'll watch the top 4 bartenders from the West region battle live. The cities include the Bay Area, Houston, Dallas, and Los Angeles. We will advance the 2 best bartenders. One will be selected from our special judges panel, and the other by the people's choice, which is your vote. Those 2 bartenders will then advance to the next round of the national bracket competition for a chance to win $5K from Black Restaurant Week.
Today, each contestant will have up to 5 minutes to perform a live demonstration of their cocktail. After the bartenders have performed their cocktail demonstration, the judges will ask them questions to get to know them better and discover the inspiration behind the recipe. Each contestant will be judged on the following: name and inspiration, creativity, palate, drink presentation, style and personality. Today's special judges include
Evan Geist, the Georgia Territory Manager for Beam Centauri, Brianna Riddick, the pastry chef at Rocksteady, and Kelsey Maynard, the managing partner at the Atlanta Breakfast Club.
Now here's how today's competition will work. Our top 4 bartenders are joining us on Zoom today, where they will each make their signature cocktail. Our judges are going to taste an exact replica of that cocktail right here at the James Room. They'll be made by our resident bartender, Will. After tasting the cocktail, the judges will interview the contestant, offer feedback about the recipe and presentation, and finally assign each bartender a score. So let's get started.
Our first contestant is Brittany Evans from the Bay Area.
I am Brittany Evans. I go by Bar Brittany out here in the Bay Area. And what we're going to be making is called a Bayberry Lemonade. So we're going to start with 1.5 muddled strawberries. You want to have an empty shaker for this because you're going to have to muddle it up with the muddler. I came up with the name of this drink because I commute from Sacramento to the San Francisco, Oakland area. And there is actually a fruit stand on the way between here and there that has the best fruit. So every time I either go or come from the Bay Area, I stop at the fruit stand and I buy a lot of fruit. After you have muddled up your strawberries, you're going to start with 2 ounces of Maker's Mark. Next, we are going to do 1 ounce of peach schnapps. The great thing about Maker's is that it has that fruit essence in it. So the peach schnapps kind of brings that out a little bit and kind of makes it very distinctive with the Maker's Mark. So the peach schnapps kind of adds to that fruit taste. So next you're going to do 1 ounce of lemon juice. And I have fresh lemon juice here. And then I'm doing 1 ounce of simple syrup, and I make simple syrup myself. I just literally boil 1 cup sugar, 1 cup water, or however much I need for my events the day before, and then I put it in the cooler to chill overnight, and that's my simple syrup. So what you're gonna do now is take some ice and pour it into your shaker, top it off and shake it up. This is a do not strain drink, so I do not have a strainer with me. You just pour it directly into a highball glass. Get all the ice and everything in there. It usually turns out to be a pretty perfect pour. And then when I garnish this, again, we still keep in mind that California is known for our fruits and veggies and things of that nature. So I kind of brought all of that into the garnish for this. And then I throw a fresh cherry on top. And so that is a Bayberry Lemonade by Bar Brittany.
Tell us a little about yourself and your experience in the industry.
So I started bartending in 2006. We came here in Sacramento in 2019 and I started working for Fixin's Soul Food Restaurant. So I started bartending there. I became the bar manager without the official title. It was the first time I actually ever bartended full time instead of part-time. And 3 weeks later, we went into COVID. So they closed down the restaurants and the bars and stuff out here. So it was COVID, people wanted to be in the comfort of their own home without a lot of people, but they still wanted their own bar drinks. So I started going to people's houses with just small groups of people and I showed them how to make drinks and stuff. So that's kind of how Bar Brittany started. I literally just work a few times a week. I get to be home with my kids more often and I'm not killing myself. So it's great.
Cheers.
Cheers. You sound like a lot of people in the hospitality industry that had to pivot and figure out how to make ends work and how to meet your ends. So I just love your story, because there's so many people that ended up just doing their own thing, and now they have a full-fledged business that can supplement their income and replace whatever job and hours and whatever they had before pre-COVID. So I love to hear that about your story. So I love the presentation. I love the color. It's very tropical. I guess one of the first things that I thought about when you say berries, that you were maybe going to include different kinds of berries in addition to the strawberry. So can you give me like your thought process on that?
So I decided to go with strawberries because I don't strain the drink. So if you strain it, you know, you might use a few more berries and stuff like that. But I feel like strawberries is the best thing to actually be able to sit through a straw. Like, it may be a little difficult, but it'll come through, versus the seeds and stuff that are in blackberries or the skin that comes on blueberries.
This is gonna sound very interesting. To me, it sounded interesting because I'm used to, when I'm doing these type of bar competitions, I'm used to restaurant bars, you know? So I'm like muddling this, garnish. But when you explained that, you know what, my pivot was, I'm going to people's houses. I'm teaching the moms and dads how to make drinks at their home. Yeah. And sometimes I forget that Maker's Mark is, I'm not always popping bottles of Maker's Mark in the club, but I will buy it for the house. Yes. You know, so this is an excellent house drink, an excellent drink that if I had some friends over in a summer day, it's raining where I am, but if it was summery, and like it usually is, this would be an amazing drink for the house.
It's a very summery drink, very refreshing. You know, I feel like not everybody, to me with makers, when I bartended, the thing I made most common is, of course, old fashions, you know, but most women or girlfriends and things like that don't necessarily like an old fashioned. So I always think, what can I do to make this taste good so that everybody can drink the same thing, but not have to use multiple kinds of liquors?
I think you kind of hit the nail on the head. I mean, obviously, there's plenty of ways to drink Maker's Mark. You can still, the bourbon still comes through. We all agreed that, you know, it's not overly sweet, but it's still something that I think, you know, someone that's never had Maker's Mark or never had bourbon before would try this and they'd be very surprised. So I think it was a really good riff on it. Speaking of drinking this at home, what would you pair this with to eat?
So I would do a good salad with some grilled chicken on it, and then maybe throw some cranberries and some fruit in with the salad as well.
There we go.
Grilled chicken. Okay. Brittany, I will say this is a drink that I want to be drinking on a rooftop with my homegirls, with the wind blowing in our hair, some glasses on. Yep. This is that drink. This was a great drink. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Moving on to our next bartender from Dallas, everybody say hello to Thomas Holbert.
My name is Thomas Holbert. I'm from Dallas, Texas, and my cocktail is called Sugar, Spice, and Everything Noise with an O. I named it that because that is basically what Dallas is. A little bit of sugar, a little bit of spice, and everything nice. Such a huge melting pot of different cultures and flavors and everything. Indian food, African food, like all different types of everything. And culinary-wise, I feel like per capita, we kill it. So that's why I wanted to have a cocktail that kind of represented Dallas in that way. So without further ado, let me go ahead and make this thing for you. So first things first, I'm gonna add just about an ounce of freshly squeezed lime juice. And then after that, we're gonna add an ounce and a half of green machine juice. So basically this is a mixture of freshly pressed cucumber and freshly pressed kiwi juice. We use 1 ounce of cucumber per 3/4 ounce of kiwi to make the green machine. Now after that, we add a spicy element to add to the vegetal and earthy and fruity element. We're gonna use a Serrano agave. So what I did was I just took about a cup of agave, a half a cup of filtered water, cut 2 Texas Serranos in half, and kind of steep them for about 2 minutes. So I don't want it to be too spicy. So 2 minutes in that in that agave syrup mixture, and strained all the seeds out and made a spicy Serrano agave. So I added an ounce of that. And last but not least, we have our star of the show, Maker's Mark, about 2 ounces of this. or not about, but exactly 2 ounces of this. Last but not least, I went ahead and I rimmed my glass with some smoked salt. So that salt, that smoky salt, is gonna bring out that cucumber in there. Obviously, you know, salt, cucumbers go well together. And it is green, because I don't know if you've ever been to Dallas, but we have that green building, that green ball. And I just think it's like, in a Collins glass, I think that's a really good representation of my city. So I'll go ahead and shake, shake, shake. So now that everything's nice and incorporated, we wanna pour slowly over ice. And last but not least, I wanna garnish with a little bit of kiwi and cucumber ribbon. And I don't know how professional it is, but I guess I can get my sip on now, right?
We're ready to
Just
try.
got our drink.
I'm ready for you to try, yes.
Cheers.
Your energy's amazing. I'm really interested in what you were talking about with the puree with the kiwi and cucumber, because oddly enough, it's spicy. Like my throat's burning, but also that kiwi and cucumber kind of like cools it back down, man. It's like icy hot.
Like Kelsey said, like it's cooling as it goes down, but you can definitely, that spice definitely hits you. And I love the viscosity of this drink. I think this is one of the drinks that had a little bit more texture as far as like the actual liquid goes. I feel like this is like a spa kind of drink, like a day I'm relaxing and like chilling. So what kind of made you come up with the texture? Because I know you said you, instead of muddling, you decided to blend it, because it definitely has like that kind of like thick consistency, like it has some body to it, I guess I would say, about this drink. But just like overall, how did you come up with the concept of, with those separate components, and then bring it together for the texture and the way that it and also the color? It's like a little kind of muddy a little bit, but it still looks refreshing because of that green and that kiwi color.
It had to be spicy because we're in Texas, we're in Dallas, home of Texas.
Okay.
You know what I mean? When I thought of the drink, I was like, that's the first thing I gotta do. But it can't be a spice bomb, and it has to have different elements to it. So if I add cucumber to kind of cool down that spicy element, okay, great. So now I hit 2 parts of the tongue, basically. You have that spice, you have that earthiness, and that's fine. But it was missing something, so I was like, you know what? Let me make a green machine juice. And I wanted just a little bit of a fruity element, like a sweeter element, to balance that earthy and spice. And then we have the salt for the rim. So now you have salt, earthy, spice, sugar.
Yeah.
And that's what I was trying to go for. I didn't blend it with like a blender. I used a press, like a
like a juice press. Oh, okay. I like that. It could be like the green machine cooler or something like that. But I definitely see that. You did a great job. I love your energy. I don't feel like I was left with many questions, because you completely explained everything all the way through. You did a great job at presenting. And I mean, you're a vet. You're not new to this, okay? You're true to this, okay?
I try. I'm just happy to be here, y'all.
We appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Appreciate y'all, guys and ladies.
Our next bartender is from Los Angeles. Everybody meet William Gibbons Jr.
Hi, my name is William Gibbons, and I'm a bartender here in Los Angeles, California. My drink is called Walking on Sunshine. So I'm gonna start off with my drink here. We're gonna start with a ½ ounce of freshly squeezed lemon juice right into the glass. We're gonna follow it up with a guava cordial. I want to use fruits and vegetables and stuff that would be indicative to LA, but stuff that you can source outwards. I use kerns, that with a pure sugar cane, some lemon zest, and if you have it, you can do a little bit of citric acid, which adds a little bit more brightness to it. So we're gonna add 1 ounce of that to the cocktail. Right into the glass. Follow closely by, it wouldn't be a spritz without some sort of fortified spirit, Amaro or a fortified wine. So I'm gonna use Amaro Angelino, which is here made in California. They add a little bit of complexity to your cocktail, which not taking away from the maker's mark, which is gonna be the star of the show. It's really just gonna enhance the flavors with some citrus notes, some herbs, and some little floral notes to it as well. So we're gonna add 70.75 to that. Then we're going to top it off with Maker's Mark. Maker's Mark's going to have a lot of good complexity flavors, vanilla, and that's going to really add well to the guava and to the lemon juice, and boosted with the Amaro. Once you have all that in there, we're going to add 2 ounces of soda water. We're going to get some crushed ice, fill that in. We're going to take our bar spoon, put it right down in there and give it a nice swizzle. That's going to mix up all your ingredients properly. Also give a little bit of dilution. A nice little garnish and a biodegradable straw. Walking in the sunshine. Cheers.
So one thing that I noticed that you have done different that we haven't seen is that you built your drink straight in the glass.
Typically when you are shaking a cocktail, you want to add a lot of variation to it. I didn't really want that. I really wanted to make the Maker's Mark stand out a lot. And in order to do that, I wanted to give it a nice stir with the to add dilution and chill it in the glass as opposed to shaking it. And that's why I kind of used the guava cordial with the added brightness to it to give it that idea that it is a shaken cocktail, but it's not. It's on the rocks.
Well, our drinks are ready. I do want to try it before I start talking. Cheers, brother.
Cheers.
Cheers.
All right, now we're talking.
Okay,
Well, well, this is blended beautifully.
Thank you.
One more sip, man. I'm sorry.
I like this one. I like the sparkly soda water. Your flavors are very well balanced.
This is beautiful.
What would you pair this with food-wise?
Oh, for sure. I would do like oysters in a half shell, some sort of seafood. I would do even like a spicy chicken sandwich, something that will like cut the spice in between your bites. Like, I mean, when I try to make cocktails, I'm really into food, so I always try to think about what I would eat while I'm drinking, because there's no point in just drinking by itself for me. Like I like to do all the things at one time. So.
And well, I feel like this drink kind of straddles the line between like a daytime drink and a nighttime drink. So like, where would you say like this kind of fits in? I mean, because it says walking on sunshine.
I would think that it's definitely like coming down from the, like, maybe you get out of work early, you go out to a bar, it's still happy hour, you want to have some drinks on a rooftop, watch the sunset, hang out, you can continue drinking. It's not overly powerful, and on purpose, I kind of want to lower the ABV on this so you could have more than one. So it's not like you're drinking to get completely sloshed, but you're drinking to have a good time.
Absolutely. I think this is an approachable cocktail for anyone, whether you love bourbon or you've never tried it before. So we definitely appreciate that. Great work, man.
Thank you, Will.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Cheers.
And our final bartender for this evening is hailing from Houston, Texas, Ed Warner II.
My name is Ed Warner. I'm from Houston, Texas. This is my city. I'm getting honor to represent Houston in this competition for the second year in a row. My cocktail is called the Albedo Strip. My cocktail is actually a variation of an old fashioned. So I'm going to start my cocktail off with some house-made cherry syrup. I use dark cherries, Madagascar vanilla, and some chipotle powder, and a little bit of pure cane sugar. So I'm going to put an ounce of that in a mixing glass. Next, I'm going to use a vanilla liqueur. And again, just to sort of let those vanilla flavors that naturally come out in Maker's Mark straight Kentucky bourbon dance with each other. I'm going to also put an ounce of that. Cherry liqueur, you're going to have an ounce. And a quarter of an ounce of limoncello, just to sort of, as a seasoning, to bring out those other flavors, put a little tartness to the cherry, along with the sweet, make it nice and balanced. And an ounce and a half of fat of Wagyu beef bacon fat washed Maker's Mark straight Kentucky bourbon. Now, I rendered my Wagyu bacon and drained off the fat, put it into the Maker's Mark, let it sit, put it in the freezer, broke off that fat cookie on the top, strained it. You got a nice creamy mouthfeel and the smokiness of the bacon. I'm gonna finish this off with a couple of dashes of sour cherry bitters. And as I like to say, stir this passionately, give it a little dilution. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a cube of Albedo Strip ice into my little makeshift old-fashioned glass. And Albedo Strip ice is actually a 50% dilution of the cocktail. Strain my cocktail over the ice. And then garnish with a piece of Wagyu beef bacon candy. I can't resist. Nice little crisp candy with a little kick. And I think this is a solid cocktail. It's nice for the summer. It's refreshing. It really accentuates the liveliness of the Albedo Strip. You know, it's also a homage to what we all grew up on, and that was red Kool-Aid. Well, now this is an adult version.
Ed, you're a legend, my friend.
Yes.
I don't know about a legend. I'm just
We got them poured up. You took a great amount of time to let our bartender make some. Cheers to you.
Cheers. Thank you,
That
Ed.
was awesome.
cheers.
Oh my gosh.
This is a grown man's drink, okay? So if I'm out with my man, he better be ordering this. Oh, I love a play on an old fashioned. I love women order old fashions when I'm out with them because I was like, they know their flavors. I will say this drink is really sophisticated. I like that you included cherries. Like, cherries are very seasonal. They're very summery, and they have a short time when you can actually access fresh cherries. So the fact that you use cherries in a different medium for each time in the drink, like, I really, really love that.
Delicious, man. I really appreciate you for putting some thought into it. You said it took you about 3-4 weeks of just thinking about stuff.
Yeah,
And I completely understand, man.
me too.
And I appreciate you for your thoughts, because this is beautiful.
When I was putting this drink together, to be perfectly transparent, I knew I had something, and I said, something's missing. Something's missing. This guy doesn't even drink. I was just bouncing off of him. And his girlfriend in the background just started yelling. And you know, okay, like, I don't eat pork, right? But as soon as she said those words, my brain started working.
Yeah.
You know, and I said, okay, I'm not just going to add bacon. I said, I'll do a wash. I do a fat wash. That'll start it out. And it was as I was doing the fat wash, I said, what am I going to do with this bacon? All right. And I decided to make the candy. Well, there was a thing last year where the judges said they were having problems making a decision. And they said my cocktail over diluted. So I said, that ain't going to happen again. That's why I incorporated the cocktail actually in my ice cube. So now y'all take as long as you want to drink it.
To drink it, the flavor's still gonna be there.
You know, I just looked at not only making a good cocktail, but making a competitive cocktail.
I mean, you can tell that there was no detail left unturned, from the ice to the wash to the syrup. I mean, it's pretty special, Ed. One last question for you: what would you pair food-wise with this cocktail?
Barbecue beef, no question. I would do brisket. I would do maybe a nice semi-spicy sausage, you know. But I would also use a nice espresso barbecue sauce.
I like that. I like that. Ed, we're gonna have to pull up in Houston. I see that shirt. I think it says the Ed Experience.
It does. This is what I'm about.
Okay, Ed.
I love it. I love it. We're gonna come find you in Houston, man. This has been awesome. You have been a great end to the evening. We can't thank you enough.
Thank you, Ed.
Thank you very much.
We'll just start at the top then, right? Y'all go with that? Yes. All right, Bay Brittany.
For Brittany, I love her business model, and I definitely think her business model works for her. And I think her drink was a reflection of, like, what cocktails do you make at home? Mm-hmm. What do you make when you're going to somebody's home? And I definitely think that's where, like, the muddled strawberries and all of that came from. I like the drink for sure, but it wasn't as complex or technically savvy as I would have expected. And I definitely think Brittany is a person that is bringing more people to Maker's Mark. Yeah, like if she's going to these people home and, like, you know, like you said, this is a drink that you don't just order at the bar. Like you buy it to enjoy at your, enjoy at your home.
You know, if I was at home drinking Maker's Mark, Brittany would be making my drink. Dallas had a great stage presence.
I like Dallas a lot. I liked his stage presence. I thought his drink was definitely spicy, but it was cool at the same time.
I agree. I think it was different. It was unique. You know, he really tried to go out on a limb and make something that people don't normally make, and still kept it, you know, spirit forward. You could taste Maker's Mark in there, but you also tasted the other components of the drink. It made sense. You know, it was definitely a unique taste profile.
The spice was a little heavy, would get to me after the one drink, but I liked the drink though. I liked it. All right, so let's say Will from LA. So I like Will's drink a lot.
Yeah, I did too. I drank that one.
I think it was something I could sip on, not really realizing that I'm sipping on. I could be on the rooftop with my homegirls, you know, just having like a good like Sunday fun day.
Yeah.
Brunch situation.
What was kind of blah?
So I was just about to say, you know,
a little
between Thomas and Ed and Will, like Will's cocktail, in my opinion, was probably my favorite out of the three. It almost seemed like he didn't believe that his cocktail was gonna be good, where Thomas and Ed were like, "This is the best thing you're ever gonna have." You know,
this is what I'm making.
I think there's something to that.
And he's the only one that had like a kind of fizzy aspect of it. You know, everybody love a little sparkling water these days, a little tonic, a little bubbly. All right, now we got Mr. Ed from Houston, baby.
The Albedo Strip. If you're at a cookout, you're gonna end up. Ed's gonna be the one holding court in the court. No, there's no doubt. I mean, that guy just, I don't think there's better compliment you can give a bartender than like you just want to sit and hang out with.
Uncle Ed.
Yeah, Uncle Ed.
Uncle Ed with good drinks.
That's what I'm saying.
I want to know what Ed got to say.
You know, if I could say anything, I think maybe there was maybe one or two mini cherry components.
It was a lot of cherry stuff.
Cherry overload.
I still think you could taste.
But it wasn't cherry overload in the flavor, surprisingly.
No.
Right.
Yeah.
What got me was the technicality of saying, you know what? I remember last time I made a drink and it over diluted, so I made sure I put the drink in the ice. Like what?
Yeah.
Like the creativity and the ingenuity to be like, I'm not gonna mess up this drink like next time.
This round is a little tough. Oh no, man. Oh no.
That concludes our West Regional round. Vote now for your favorite bartender. The People's Choice poll closes soon. Thanks again to our partner Maker's Mark and all of our community partners for the competition. Check out the Black Restaurant Week social media pages to see who won tonight's battle. That concludes our final regional round. In September, we pick back up with the Elite 8 for the Corner Store Challenge. Bartenders will be challenged to make a Maker's Mark cocktail incorporating ingredients from the local convenience store.